Police brutality and oversight. Please give it up for Manuel Mata.
Hello, my name is Manuel Mata, and I've lived in Fort Worth for all my 45 years. And in those years, I've experienced this. The Fort Worth Police Department is still facing a series of challenges, aligning its practices of policing with its policies, procedures, and expressed values. They have had numerous investments in technology that have given managers the tools to identify necessary policy violations and of law, also to identify and address gaps in policy, training, supervision, or widespread practices. For decades, they gave us OPOM for transparency to act as a conduit for so-called voices of many communities that are terrorized by police officers. And these are their own words. However, the actual experience of some members of the community, especially people of color and those in low-income neighborhoods, is very different. Daily encounters are far too often categorized by a command and control approach that leads to avoidable use of forces and creates tension with residents who encounter police officers. The failure to use effective de-escalation techniques continue to be a significant issue that has increased mistrust. Accountability for aggressive police tactics is frequently anemic or ineffective and can place form over substance, missing both individual and systemic problems, compounding the issue. The panel heard reports from supervisors in the department that middle managers were discouraged from raising issues unless there have been a complaint or a public outcry. The panel concluded that the disconnect between policy and practice is driven in large part by mixed messages from department leaderships throughout the investigation, ineffective accountability systems, and a culture resistant to change. Good policy and training is not followed up with robust accountability. Officers' conduct, including cursive, abusive language, the failure to de-escalate, unnecessary shows of force, and tactical mistakes that create dangers not only to the officer and to the community are at times not rebuffed by the chain of command or not investigated by internal affairs, essentially keeping internal affairs internal by blue washing every issue they can, by investigating misconduct not being lawful instead of not appropriate or avoidable. They found that SWAT was using no-knock warrants as a de facto training exercise when some alternatives were clearly available. Also, the review showed training materials on no-knock were inadequate and incorrect, resulting in officers sidestepping the no-knock and announce or knock loudly requirements or wait any period of time after an announcement. Rarely do officers who fail to activate body-worn cameras get consequences, and it sends the message that their use is aspirational. Creating a culture where community members are on t-shirts and in families, broken hearts like Brandon Zapata, Crawford Blake Bullitt, Emmett Mayo, George Contreras, Tatiana Jefferson, Jaquavian Tyree Slayton, Cody Wayne Seals, Markevion Cannon, Amory Malone, and Jerry Waller. And there's so many more, and I just like to be addressing these issues to people that don't know. Because all these names, majority of them, they were hidden from the community. So you don't understand or you don't know what these police officers are capable of doing. Because their supervisors, their captains, their watch commanders all fall in line with the same CYA, a cover-up at the cost of victims. Because two of these names are actual victims of crimes that ran into police officers are no longer here. Their families, years later, still have no answers. So until we get a police department that respects the community, regardless of race, color, or creed, I'm going to continue exposing this police department, especially when they try to hide their corruption. Woo.